You know, humans can experience a wide range of emotions. We can feel happiness, sadness, and one of the most powerful emotions, love. An emotion I've yet to experience. In fact, love as an emotion is so strong that the majority of us not only want it for ourselves, but even want it for others. This is basically what shipping is, to support 2 or more people to enter a romantic relationship. And as you can imagine, it can get crazy. You can see shipping for real life people and fictional characters, but I have more to say about shipping culture for fictional characters, so I'll start with that. I'll talk about in real life shipping later though. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong to have ships or you can't like ships, especially if the show makes it clear they have romantic feelings for each other, makes it completely reasonable to be a fan of the ship. Even for me, there are plenty of ships that I like. But when it seems like the shipping culture between 2 characters in a show is taking over the fan base, or when the ship is the whole personality of a portion of fans, that's where I'm saying you need to hold your horses. And what better way to show this than with one of the most wholesome communities, My Hero Academia. While this community is known for a lot of things, I feel one of the defining traits for the stereotypical My Hero Academia fan base is the shipping. Some fans go rabid about the ships in this show, to the point where the person who voice acts Deku was getting asked questions about the ships with the main character, and he had to go online to tell people to stop asking questions about that. There's also the fan art, which I'm not going to show because I refuse to have that on my computer, and the author of the manga allegedly has gotten harassed by fans because of certain ships not being canon in the show. I say allegedly because there's no concrete proof to my knowledge at least, but I wouldn't put it past his fan base, and that's just crazy that the author would be getting harassed over something that stupid. Another gripe I have with the shipping culture for this show is the types of pairings they decide to support. Like with the most obvious pairing, Deku and Ochako, I could see why people would support this ship. It's pretty clear they're written to have some sort of romantic interest, so it would make perfect sense for this ship to be the most popular one. But no, that's not how it works at all. For some reason, the fanbase is more interested in the Bakugo and Deku ship. If you have seen any part of this show, you would see how this makes no damn sense, because this guy might just be one of the biggest dickheads I've ever seen. And throughout the show, he just treats Deku like dog shit, to the point where when I saw the show, I always wanted Deku to just cut his toxic ass off. But I guess other people saw things differently than me, because some people really saw Bakugo, I don't know, shoving Deku into toilets, and thought, you know what would be great? If they got together in a romantic way. Like, something is wrong with you, yes, sir! And even worse than that, some of the most popular ships are just straight up illegal, which I'm not even going to bother talking about. I'm done talking about this shit. Next fan base, Arcane. If you have seen any of my previous videos, which, you know, after you're done with this one, don't feel shy to watch them, just saying. No. You would know I recently finished Arcane, and also I'm a D1 Arcane meat rider. I love the show. I'll glaze this show to the day I die. And since I loved the show, I naturally got exposed to the community. You know, watching TikTok edits, y'all Arcane editors are amazing, you deserve it all, and stuff like that. And I gotta tell you, I was not at all prepared for the obsession with the ships in this show. Like, I swear, if you took a person who knew nothing about Arcane and just showed them the fan base for Arcane, they would walk away thinking Arcane was a romance series, I kid you not. And if you never watched Arcane, yeah, the show is nothing like that. Oh, and also skip here, there's gonna be Arcane spoilers ahead. It almost seemed like people didn't care about anything besides the ships, which caught me completely off guard, because in a show like Arcane, there are so many plot points that, in my opinion, were way more interesting and got me more invested than the ships. But nonetheless, the 2 biggest ships, Caitlyn and Vi, and Jinx and Echo, have taken over the fanbase, it seems. I'll start with Caitlyn and Vi. They suck. I'm just kidding. Caitlyn and Vi's relationship plays a crucial part of the story, and I don't really have anything against it besides the infamous jail scene. A scene that shippers of Caitlyn and Vi love, but I'm not a big fan of. Now, before the Caitlyn and Vi shippers come after me and burn me at the stake, let me sit you down and explain my logic. When I first saw the scene, I didn't have many issues with it. I just thought, oh cool, Vi and Caitlyn love each other. However, once the episode ended and I had time to process what I saw, that's when I started to have issues with it. Vi and Jinx literally just came off of rebuilding their relationship, and it was clear they still love each other as sisters. And literally right before Jinx breaks out of prison, Vi expresses to her that she still wants to, you know, be together. But yet when Jinx insinuates to Vi she's gonna break the cycle, which, I mean, I can't see how Vi could interpret that in any other way besides her killing herself, Vi instead chooses to... It just didn't seem right to me, because when we see episode 9, Jinx literally would have went through with it if it wasn't for Echo. And it's not like Vi sent Echo to check on her, like no, Echo came to her on his own. Vi had nothing to do with that. But moving past the actual writing, the fanbase for this ship is a whole nother situation. To me, it just seems like the fanbase for this ship only cares about Caitlyn and Vi because they're together. I mean, that might be a no duh. Fans of the ship will care about Caitlyn and Vi being together, but it almost seems like the only defining trait of the two to a lot of these shippers is that they're a couple, even though both characters are so much more than just their ship. Whenever one is brought up, they will always bring up the other as if you can't talk about them as separate people. I'm not saying this is everyone, and I mean, it's not a big deal. I'm not gatekeeping people for liking what they like, but it does show how big of a deal shipping culture in Arcane has become. Now, on the flip side, the other main ship is Echo and Jinx, aka Timebomb. I like this ship a lot. In a world where the ship names are just a shitty combination of the two characters' names, at least this name took some creativity. Echo and Jinx were also my two favorite characters even before I had any idea they could be a ship, and I just really love that dance scene. Even if you take away the context, just purely from an animation and music standpoint, it's fucking amazing. It might just be a top 5 scene in Arcane for me. Whoever came up with the idea to make the scene 4 frames per second, oh my god, I should kiss you for that. Hey, yo! As much as I like the ship though, it is still pretty incredible how big this fanbase is. Because at least with Caitlyn and Vi, they damn near had a whole season and a half to develop their relationship. With Jinx and Echo though, there's barely any interactions on screen relative to how popular it is. I mean, we see them one time together in season 1, and in that scene they weren't exactly giving each other hugs and shit. Like, there was not a thought in my head that these two could even be a ship before the third to last episode. And I guess that's part of the reason why the shipping fanbase is so big. Because we don't see much of them, it leaves people wanting more. And when I say they wanted to see more, I really mean it. I be seeing videos of Timebomb shippers analyzing every frame Jinx and Echo are on screen, noticing some shit goddamn Sherlock Holmes or the Scooby-Doo gang wouldn't even notice if it meant it was signs of a romantic relationship between the two. They were noticing tally marks on Echo and the hourglass symbol on Jinx during the final battle. Like, I honestly can't even diss this, I'm just in awe of the dedication. And to be fair, I also think we should have seen more interactions between the two, especially in the last episode. Watching how Echo talked to Jinx out of dying would have been really meaningful to the show in my opinion. But as usual, the shipping craze is not limited to just the confirmed ones, and a few of these, I have to admit, kinda confuse me. Like Jason Victor. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with liking dudes, but I just saw them as close friends, homies, and nothing more. At least it's not Jinx and Silco though. Whoever came up with that, you need to get checked up. Finally, moving on to real life shipping. Yeah, this can be just as weird as fictional shipping, might just be even more weird. Because at least with fictional shipping, one could potentially argue you aren't really impacting anyone. With real life shipping though, it's very clear how connections between people could be impacted if they got millions of people being nosy in their relationship, making a big deal out of every interaction they have together. And with this type of shipping, I think it just comes down to people thinking they know these celebrities personally. Take Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce for example. Now, unless you have been living under a rock, you would have heard that they recently got engaged. You would think, oh, people would just like the post announcing they're engaged, maybe even comment congratulations or best wishes if they're feeling generous. No, people were literally crying over this. Taylor Swift fans were reacting so strongly, you would think they were going to be one of the bridesmaids handpicked by Taylor Swift herself. Another big example of in real life shipping is, alright, yeah, that's all I got for you in this department. I'm sure there's more that could be talked about in this category, but I don't keep up with this shit, and I can't be bothered to do research on this. I'd rather spend my time watching paint dry. Anyways, that's the video on my thoughts on shipping culture. I think it's casually fine, but can definitely get out of hand. As always, thanks for watching, check out my other videos, and goodbye.